with Bola and
Whitney or Whit.
Whichever one you prefer.
Let's
do Whitney.
Yeah.
It's easy for you to say.
I mean, I don't usually refer to myself as Whit.
Yeah.
You guys can call me Whit.
Yeah.
Bola calls me Whit. Other people call me Whit, but not that I talk in the third person that often. But,
okay, I'm gonna cut her rant short. And I always go by Bola because I have a long, I believe it's 4-syllable Nigerian name. Yes.
Yeah, it's 4 syllables.
Big up to all of my Nigerians. Yoruba, whoop whoop in the house. Anyway, so my full name is Bola Sade. In the accent. Bola Sade Olaoluwa Hanson. There's more names, but my mom didn't let me know what they were. Anyway. So, basically, I cut it short for y'all. Bola is easy to say. 2 syllables. There you go. So, Whitney, Bola.
That's right.
Yes, and this is episode 2 of BlerdTalk with Bola and Whitney. And we have to do it as Blerds. We have to do it. This episode is about Black Panther.
Black Panther.
Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever.
So, everybody...
You guys missed it. Since you can't see us, we totally did the
yes,
the
just imagine us both with our arms
Yeah.
crossed. Glasses and hair done, everything.
Yeah. I've been doing that like at work for forever.
Me too. I did when I went to Best Buy. I talked to one of the Geek Squad, and I just did at the end. I was like, "Wakanda forever!" He just started laughing. Anyway, before we continue, I just want to say, anyone listening, right now is your time to go somewhere else because spoilers will abound. In fact, if you haven't watched the movie by now, it's been like 4 weeks. Now it's like, what are you doing? I've seen it twice already in the theater. Like, I paid full price. I don't pay full price for a lot of things. I just don't. So I went and saw that thing twice. I probably will see one more time. Just because I'm trying to wait for my sister who's taking her time.
Bola's one up to me. I've only seen it once thus far, but I gotta tell you guys, I don't pay to own a lot of stuff just because of things like, Netflix, Hulu. I'm like, why am I going to pay
stuff is just
when
too
I
damn
have
expensive.
it forever? Except for you don't have it forever, because I watched Family Guy, or I did watch Family Guy on Netflix, and then all of a sudden, last week, they're like, oh, this will be gone by, what was it, like February 13th?
I know. That's like,
and then it was gone.
Stuff just disappears on Netflix.
I depended on you to have this forever. This is what I fall asleep to.
Yeah.
But it's on Hulu, so I'm fine.
Okay.
By the way, I pay for like so many streaming things.
She does.
I've got Hulu.
She's
got
the streamer,
Netflix,
you guys.
I've got Amazon. Well, I've got Amazon Prime, so I'll get Amazon Instant Video with it.
Yes.
And I got rid of my cable and switched to Sling TV so I can watch stuff live. But then I don't, actually. You know what, guys? You'll find that if you get probably as millennials, I don't know if this really works for people who are like older than the millennial generation. Mm-hmm. But if you're like a millennial, if you get rid of your cable, you probably find that you really don't miss it that much because there's so much good stuff on Netflix and Hulu and whatnot.
I honestly watch YouTube and Netflix all the time. Like, that's it. Like, anything I want to watch that's on cable, because I'm a big late night TV show watcher. I love all the... What do I want to call what's happening right now? The Trumpage. The Trump carnage is what that is. Because it's just, Trump is just political fodder for all the comedians, and I enjoy it. So I watch my Colbert, I watch Trevor Noah, Kimmel, and who else? John Oliver. I watch it all. Seth Meyers. So I basically just watch all the clips on YouTube. So I don't care to catch it when it comes on, because I'm usually sleeping. I watch everything on YouTube or Twitter. or Netflix. And so I'm good. Like, I don't watch regular TV anymore.
Yeah. The shows that I would actually, that I like pay to have my membership, like my Sling TV for, I found that, you know what? I'm kind of just waiting for them to come to like Netflix or Hulu or whatnot because I'm spoiled. I'm like, I want to binge watch my way through the entire
It's so bad.
now.
Binge watching is a thing, but it's just kind of like, it's so good, though.
I want to have, like, bloodshot eyes my way through, like, the entire season instead of, one episode
What
at
is
a time.
the last thing you did binge?
I'm currently binging Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I'm on season 2 now, like, midway through. But I had started on Desperate Housewives, also on season 2. Because I've never finished Desperate Housewives. I did, like, in high school, I watched all of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but now I'm starting over again. But Desperate Housewives, I never finished it, and that is... It's hilarious. I love, like, the dark humor for Desperate Housewives. I've got a lot of things. I'm spinning a lot of plates right now. What else am I watching?
She's watching a lot, so let her think. The last thing I binge watched was The Crown. I loved
I've got
The
that
Crown.
in my queue, but I have not started watching it yet. I am so... Oh my god. I was reading this article about Netflix about how, like, they're almost like they're harming themselves now. Because they've got so many, like, shows out. They're, like, cannibalizing their own shows.
Oh.
Because, I mean, and if you think about it, it's kind of right. Like, when I article, I'm like, you know what, they're right. Because, like, I'll see this thing... Or, well, I get the emails from Netflix. Like, we recommend. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, psst. Watch that. And then you get into the Netflix app that I'm watching on my TV, and you know they got the trailers when you first sign in at the very top that starts playing automatically, and it's like the same thing that they recommended to you in the email, and it starts playing, and you're watching, and you're like, oh, well, this actually looks really good.
That gets me every time. But me, I am just a nerd of British period pieces. Anything, I just do. I love it.
You're the reason I started watching, what's that one with the British people?
Is it The Crown?
No. It's one that's ended. It was really popular.
Oh, Downton Abbey.
Downton Abbey.
Yes, I love it.
I did finish Downton Abbey. I think it was last year.
Okay, anyway.
But I started it, like, because you were talking about it, and then I, like, fell off. I was like, I don't know how interested I am in it.
It was
then
the
I
best.
Restarted, and I'm like, this is actually a really, really good show.
What I like about the British period pieces is, one, the English, they just was like, we're not about that full 24 episode season life. They will have a whole series be 6 episodes, and that's it. But in that one episode, you get, like, a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
The writing and the things they're just very interesting concepts, and I like history, so I'm a history blurred. And I like all things British. Especially the men's. And the accents.
I wonder, though, if Hollywood has started taking a note from that, because, like, well, especially, like, Netflix shows. Netflix shows aren't, like, 24 episodes. They're, like, 14 is probably the most of an original Netflix show I think I've seen, or less. And then there are some TV shows now that aren't doing, like, the whole 22, 24 episode thing. They're doing, like, again, like, 14, 12, or less. And actually, it's working really well. Because I feel like those 22 or 24 episode things, they're like, they're trying to draw it out. And you're like...
The filler episodes used to piss me off with the anime because they would divert completely from the actual storyline. Like, take in point Naruto. We are trying to pursue Sasuke. That's the whole point. And why are we going off track into some other nation and having adventures for like 8 episodes? I'm like, can we get back to Sasuke, please? So it's just like a diversion while we're like, oh, let's draw it out some more. I mean, I'm all for fillers, but let's have a whole filler season. And like, I just like the story to continue. So filler episodes, I'm just like, you can tell when they happen. You're just like, okay. Someone had a concept one day, and I was just like, oh, like with The Flash. I love The Flash. Superhero nerd here.
And
Blurred.
she's probably about to spoil so much for me right now.
I'm not going to say nothing. But they did a musical episode last season because the main people, they did a crossover musical episode with Supergirl. Supergirl and
You mean other than the crossover episode with the Dominators?
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't seen that one yet.
They've done a whole, like, they actually, this season, they did, like, a big one where it's all 4 shows: Supergirl, DC Legends of Tomorrow, Flash, and, Arrow, yes. So they did, like, that was awesome, by the way. I'm not going to say nothing else about it, but it was awesome! Epicness! My whole family watched. Anyway, but the last season, they did a crossover with just The Flash and Supergirl. And both Grant Gustin and Melissa Benoist, who both play The Flash and Supergirl, were on Glee originally.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
He was Sebastian something.
Shaw.
He was like one of the warblers in Glee. And then she was one of the new kids after some of them had graduated.
Marley.
Yeah, I didn't even know her name. That's when I stopped watching Glee.
Yeah,
it got so bad.
I mean, I did watch all the way to the end of Glee. I watched like every single like episode of Glee because I love musicals, and I did love Glee. But to be honest, I kept watching just out of almost like obligation because I wanted to just see how it would end. You know, it was one of those things like after the love is gone.
Basically, and I can't watch like me since I'm a writer as well. I can't stand it when the storyline is just going to heck. It's going to the crapper I will tune out. Like, I will totally drop it. I'm like, what is happening right now? I'm pissed. And so I will definitely cut it down. I will cut it off
to be honest,
with a swiftness.
Really not even interested in the storylines of any of the new kids, to be honest.
The show's not even on anymore.
I don't care about these new people. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it just like it just became. Let's not even get into Glee right now.
Where are the original characters? Can we go back to their storyline? I really
that was the my thing. I like it's like I'd rather it end well and early and just be an awesome thing than it be prolonged and get all shitty. Excuse me, but yes, that's what it was.
It wasn't an F-bomb, so I don't think we have to put an explicit on.
Okay, good. I just hated it, so I was like, I'm done. And anyway, those two people. The Flash and they can sing and they sing really well. So because they had actually a lot of people on the Flash can sing, like Cisco, the guy that plays Cisco Ramon, and then we all know who's the black guy on there? What is his name? I'm blanking on his name. Anyway, but he plays Joe, the policeman on the Flash. Everybody knows him from Rent, and I think he did CSI or something for so long.
Oh, that's right. He wasn't. I love.
What was his name? I'll get his name later for you guys. But anyway. And even the guy from the original season 1 that played Eddie Thawne, he can also, all of them can sing. So like, they were like, we have so many people that can sing on this show. And then they had Blaine, who played Kurt's boyfriend in Glee, come in on that episode. That's right. Yes, and so it was like a whole musical episode.
I did see that episode. It was the one with the guy with the really weird name, right?
Yes. Oh yeah, and then Win on Supergirl. The character Win, he was in Joyful Noise. So that boy can sing too. So they just had a whole...
Noise, but I adore... Win is so cute.
They all could sing. And so they did a musical episode. Mind you, we both know... Excuse me. That was weird. It's cold right now, you guys. And the wind is just howling. It's messing up my throat. Anyway,
I know, it's been so up and down here.
We all know that all of those people can sing, and so, but it was a diversion. They did like a musical episode, but it was truly a diversion from the actual story that was going on both seasons. We know that somebody was just like, since we have so many musical people, let's do it.
Musical episodes.
I didn't mind it. I liked it, but it wasn't part of the. It wasn't part of the story.
First to do the musical episode, because I know Grey's Anatomy had one, but I know they weren't the first.
Grey's Anatomy had one.
Yeah, they had a musical episode.
I'm not a Grey's, so I'm sorry.
Oh my god, Grey's Anatomy is so... I love Shonda Rhimes. Shonda Rhimes, I love you so much. I don't know how you do it. How many seasons are we into Grey's Anatomy? And I feel like every season, it's like...
It was like 13. That's why I can't ever... I can't get better,
and I just don't understand, though. Now some favorite characters are leaving, apparently. I'm some episodes behind, but I'm like, but what? I'm sorry. But yeah, like, I know that they weren't the first, but I can't remember, because I remember Buffy the Vampire Slayer has a musical episode, but so does Xena, and I'm like, but who was first? Because I feel like it was between those two.
I don't think you're going to find out what's first, because musicals were always popular if you look at the history of film.
Musicals were first. Musical episodes, though, for shows that are otherwise not?
That's true.
Yeah.
That'll be something good to Google later.
Which is funny, because in Xena's musical episode, actually, they had more than one musical episode in Xena.
They did. I
actually own all of the box sets.
Yet she has yet to finish the season. How many years has it been since Xena ended?
I don't know.
I watched all those shows.
Getting close.
My sister watched all the shows.
I'll the entire show and go through 7 seasons and get to the middle and be like,
She's just not. I'm like, it ended so many years ago. Just watch it and end it. But she has not ended it yet.
Yeah, I haven't.
Anyway,
but it's funny because they had like one of the musical Xena episodes. They were like, this show sucks. Let's go across the street to Buffy's the Bacchae Slayer. I'm like, oh god, they had a Buffy reference in there.
It's hilarious. I love when culture does that. And you know exactly what they're talking about. But yeah. We love our TV, as you can see. We get excited. We love our shows, and just it's awesome. It's awesome.
It's awesome stuff.
Yeah, but you really should finish that, wouldn't you? I don't even know if you're going to. Your list of things to watch is immense.
And I don't know. At this point, I think it's like subconscious, because I was like, this time I'm gonna finish. But then I'm also got sometimes a short attention span, so I keep like switching between these shows. Like I said, I've got so many shows that I've got like spinning on plates now, because I'm like, I'm gonna finish Buffy, and then I'm gonna move on to some of these new shows to catch up with the episodes I've missed. Mm-hmm. Like, oh man, I've gotta finish Teen Wolf, because that'll be the end of Teen Wolf.
See, she's thinking about what she's gotta do while we're talking. You know, let's get off topic. We've totally went off topic.
Oh yeah, Black Panther episode. Yeah, about that.
We are actually here to talk about Black Panther.
That's right.
Yes, and so this movie was just
awesomeness.
It really was awesome on so many levels. Like, I'm trying to organize my thoughts so I can eloquently express the awesomeness that was depicted on screen by my awesome. Black excellence, brothers and sisters, Coogler, Chad, Panther, Lupita, so obviously, Winston, Denai, all y'all did your thing.
Black power because it's Black Panther, but I also love the fact that it was like, yes, girl power. Look at all these females kicking ass. Like, yes,
African females. African females. We weren't slaves. We weren't hood rats. We were African slaves. We kicked ass. And we liked it.
You know what I'm upset about, though? Because I'm, going to start, collecting fan pop figures. And I was looking for one to get for a present for one of my friends. And I was looking for Okoye. Do you know they do not have an Okoye fan pop figure? They've got Nakia. They've got, of course, T'Challa. They've got Killmonger. They do not have Okoye. She was
okay,
so
who
kick-ass.
can we blast so that can happen? I'm all about, I will make a video. Who can we blast? Because I'm like, you have no idea. My favorite character, well, let me get to my real favorite character. I can't get to that one yet. But my favorite character in the whole movie was Okoye. She's definitely my favorite among all the women. But she was the bomb.com. She was kicking ass and taking names and doing it with a smile and with no hair.
Oh my god, when she so fast snatched that wig off and threw it in his face, I was no more good.
That was the best. And then she slid down that scene where she just threw the spear. She was just on top of the car. She was just killing it. And looking gorgeous. Oh my god, seriously. Awesome. For BlerdCon, I really want to do Dora Milaje.
You are so awesome. Because you're my favorite character on The Walking Dead, and because you're so kick-ass. To be honest, it's between you and Daryl. You're edging Daryl out, to be honest. But the fact that you're kick-ass on there, and then you came on Black Panther, and you were just as kick-ass, if not more. Yeah, you were more kick-ass, but I'm just this is awesome.
It was so good. So let's just break it down little by little. It is a Marvel movie. It is a superhero movie, and I love my superhero movies. Me too. Yeah, so we love superheroes, yes. We are definitely particular to Marvel.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. Justice League sucked.
Wonder Woman
that was the only
awesome.
Justice League movie I liked.
And when I saw Batman vs. Superman, the only reason I even continued to watch that movie was for Wonder Woman. She was the bright spot. I'm like, when's the next time the Wonder Woman's going to be on screen? Because that's really the only reason that I'm continuing
exactly.
this venture here.
Let's not even, because I'm sorry, and I did not like Justice League.
I actually enjoyed Justice League. It wasn't the best thing ever, but I enjoyed it.
Right now, you guys can't see this. Right now, I'm making a face as if a bad odor was wafting around under my nose, because I'm like, next. I watched it by myself in the theater, and I was like, okay.
But maybe I enjoyed it because people talked about how awful it was going to be, and so I was pleasantly surprised. I don't know, but I just thought it was pretty good. I didn't have a problem with Justice League.
Back to Black Panther. So that's the main focus right now. Can we come back?
That's right. How about we're almost 20 minutes in. We haven't actually started talking about Black Panther.
So let's focus on Black Panther. This movie to me, well, as someone who is the child of immigrants, my parents both came from Nigeria. I've seen how Black and Africans are depicted, and it has been a gross
misrepresentation.
Yes, that's exactly the word of what I have grown up seeing. For me, it's weird because growing up as a first generation American, it's identity issues are always a thing. It's I know I'm African, but I'm Black here, and then just mixing the two, it's different. I was always coming home to Nigeria and then going out into the world, into America. And so, but I knew how my people were. I knew how they looked, how they appeared. We had already seen ourselves with regalness. And, I've seen how, especially Nigerians, we celebrate ourselves on fleek. Just Google all of you, Nigerian weddings. Then you see the opulence. You see the regality. You see the celebratory nature. None of us have that slave mentality or that thing. But because I live in America, I understand it. but it's not familiar to me because it's not upon me because I'm not a direct descendant of the blacks that were here in America. I'm a direct descendant of Nigeria. And so the culture is very much alive in me and my family. And I've witnessed a lack of good representation of Nigerian, unless it's Nigerian made or African made, let me say, media, like in the Nollywood and stuff, which I'm definitely not that much of a fan of.
I only just heard that term yesterday.
Really?
Hanging out with my friend like Likwa and them.
You haven't heard me talk about Nollywood?
I don't think I remember hearing you say that. But she was talking about some movie that she couldn't wait for like the second one to come out. And I was like,
it's The Wedding Party.
Yeah, because she's
Wedding
like,
Party is on
she
Netflix.
knew about it is because she saw you on Instagram.
That's the best African movie. Nigerian, by the way. Nigeria! Anyway, that's the best Nigerian movie I have seen in a long time. And so I'm not gonna lie, some of the quality, because you know me, I can't stand bad quality. But I love international films, by the way, just a small segue. I love international films. I watch them. I've watched them my whole life. And so I definitely learn a lot about the world and other people because of them. But I like to see international movies and films because I like to see how other races and cultures represent themselves as opposed to what Americans think about them.
Oh, God.
When you get to learn so much about other cultures and their views and how they see themselves from their media and stuff. Not everybody has the same money as Hollywood does, but they do what they can do. It's good to see them just be themselves in their culture. Like here, for people of minority to be in films, we have to be thought of. As opposed to white people who can just be like, we wrote a script, we wrote a character. They can play Bob, they can play Jane, they can play whoever. But when you come in and you're black and you want to interview for, what's it called? Audition for Bob or Jane, you're like, oh, we didn't really think Bob was going to be Asian. We didn't really think Jane was going to be black. And you're like, why not?
Which brings up a thing that, like, makes me really upset about, like, just how some people view, like, playing certain characters. Like, a lot of times in books, they're not described in terms of their race. Now, I know, like, for example, Wrinkle in Time is out now. And the character, I forget her name, Meg? Okay. Is described as, like, redheaded, so, yeah, there's not really any redheaded black people, so yeah, you can't assume that she is white, so they had changed it for the film. But most, like, a lot of books, they're not described according to their race, and if it is, they are just, if it does just give a description, just to, you know, give the reader the ability to picture it in their mind, it's, you know, just to be able to help them better visualize what's going on, but it's not tantamount to the story. The only thing, like, for example, that I can think of where it's important that they maintain their race as white is, like, for example, the girl with the dragon tattoo. I don't know if you ever seen
What do you mean?
that.
Yeah, I have. I've seen it. I watched the original, I think it was Dutch or...
Swedish.
I watched the original Swedish. I never watched the American one.
I have not seen the American one yet. But that one, yeah, it is important that both of them be white because of where it's coming from in the storyline, because it has to do with, like, some of it's, like, Nazi stuff, so of course you're not gonna be, like...
Black Nazi. That's like an oxymoron.
Yeah.
A black Nazi? Never.
In that case, yeah, it's, like, it's, you know, it makes sense in the storyline that, yeah, they need to be, like, Caucasian. But most storylines, the story doesn't dictate that they have to be a certain race.
Yes.
So... People
they're
who get upset
assumed.
when they do change it or something, y'all need to get over yourselves.
Yeah, but they automatically assume, like, it's assumed white all the time. No, that's what I'm saying.
Sorry, not sorry.
Baby, I'm sorry. Not sorry. Demi, we love that song, girl. You do your thing. Anyway, but for me, I feel like this film dealt with so much stuff. It was a pan-African film. So it was like everybody that is brown skinned all over the world, this film was for you. Because one, it helps to show you that you get depicted in a light that you never see. We get celebrated.
Yes.
We're not thugs. We're not hood rats. We're not ratchet. I think I said this already. We're not, in jail. We're not with babies and twirling our neck around trying to check get a W check.
Sports is not the only thing that our young men can do.
Exactly.
Thank you.
We are kings, fighters, intelligent. Shuri made I just love it. Yeah. And so... this film was like a soothing balm upon all black people. Like, indeed. And I was really taking in the cocoa butter. I was bathing in the shea butter.
Black Panther. We have been like peacocks around, like, what?
Yes, and I loved, as an African person, I would love to say that I love that everybody was engaging in the movie with wearing African clothes, because it was, for me, a symbol of Black people trying to connect to their roots, and the African people celebrating what they've already used to. Because I remember a time where being African was not cool. You guys all know the term African booty scratchers. I mean, I remember growing up, people asking me if, my family had lions and tigers outside of their house and stuff. And I was like, my family's from Lagos, the biggest city in Africa, actually, right now. One of the biggest cities in Africa, but one of the biggest ones in Nigeria. My mom's a city girl. So, like, no, there was a bunch of maybe chickens and goats, but not even. So I was like, this is stupid. And I was like, I live here. I was born in the U.S. I was like, really? So all that stuff, I was just like, they just don't get it. Coming to America came out, and my whole family were like, I'm not gonna lie, I do love that movie. But my whole family were like, really? This is what they think of us? It was like I don't even know what's the right word, the term for it. Caricature is not really it, but it was a nice imagining, because at least they tried. But they still didn't get it.
I don't know if they really tried. Because, I mean, it is a comedy.
It is.
I feel like they were
satires
like, almost like a parody.
Yeah, excuse me. I think so. But I enjoyed it. Because at least they did try to present us as kingly, queenly, that True. We feel like we are. And we aren't. There are some chiefs and kings and queens in Africa still. But I just like that this movie uplifted us into the world, to the nations.
To other people who don't know, except for what they see from Hollywood, which is gangsters.
Yes, it's like Black people can be other.
Drug dealers, etc. And it's like, we're really not like that. It's just that Hollywood sucks, and that's how they always represent us.
Exactly.
To you guys who have no other way of knowing in the more, homogenous countries.
Yes. And so, like, I remember I sent Whitney a video clip. I was watching this at work. Excuse me. Sorry. But just on my break, really. I was watching this video about what South Koreans thought about the movie. And so, because, if you have not watched the movie yet, again, spoilers abound, so please go somewhere else. But some of this, there was a nice scene that took place in Busan, South Korea. And so there was just, people wanted to gauge the reaction, So they asked a bunch of people on the street. And I was surprised at some of the answers, and then not surprised as well. A country like Korea was very homogenized, very much just them. There's not a lot of diversity in what you see. And so I get that they don't understand. They will not probably be able to sympathize with the Black cause.
Because they don't have,
Excuse me. And so, but some of the reactions were like, reading what they thought of before. Like, some of them were like, yeah, I used to think just Black people were, one of the guys said, like, I used to think white people look better than Black people. But now in this movie, after seeing people like Deny and then the guys, just seeing the people up there, Black excellence, beautiful people, just general, regular Black people, he changed his mind. He's like, oh yeah, but now after seeing this movie, I thought the women were so beautiful and all that. And I'm like, so we weren't beautiful before? Like, I got mad salty, just a little salty, but then I was like, no, I have to understand. And then other ones were like, yeah, words that are always associated with Black people, hip hop and cool and gangsters, and I like that some people change their mind. So it's like, that's why this film was so important, because like other places they change their mind.
Important. That's why it's tantamount. If you're not represented well, that's how people. I mean, if you're like these other countries where, like we said, are more homogenized, they don't have a lot of Black people there, so they don't know firsthand that that's not how we are. And so that's all they had to go by, is these movies where they depict us in these awful lights.
Yes, and unfortunately, the world learns about different cultures through what Hollywood, which is America, which of course racism and all the stuff has tainted what we really are. And so it's crazy how much westernization has influenced everywhere else. That's for another episode. But I just love that this movie bridged the gap. Like, it was, one, inviting American Blacks to, connect with their culture, their roots. Let's say roots, not culture. And of course, it was for us as as Africans too, to reach out to others and be like, hey, let's join together. We're all Black. We're together in this. And like the themes, it was so political. Like, honestly, I don't even care if other races didn't get it. But the Black people, hear me. You guys have to get what was going on in that film. This was for you. This was for you to feel good about yourselves, to uplift each other, not pull each other apart, tear each other down. let's connect. Let's stop doing his and hers and other and them and those. And we need to join together on stuff. And so... Come together right now. Over me. Okay, anyway. We did tell you that there will be random acts of singing throughout the whole show. Anyway. So that said, political game on tap. Like, one of the things I also loved was that it presented a picture of Africa. It was because Wakanda was a country that had never been colonized, and so it provided the what if, or what Africa could have become had they have not been assaulted by colonization.
Sorry, did you say insulted or assaulted?
No, assaulted. Okay. Assaulted by colonization. Okay. Sorry. And so I love that, like that image and that idea kind of, I don't know if haunt is the right word, but I'm always going back to them like, what if? What if? Because Africa is still a resource-rich country, but a lot of the resources are not being enjoyed or used by its people. It's still being sent out, even today. All of it. Its people and its resources are being used up and sent out, and not a lot of it is being given back to the communities, building each other up. Like, honestly, the amount of oil and wealth that Nigeria has, they should not be in the position they are right now. They are growing, probably one of the richest countries in Africa at the moment. But there's so much more that that country could be more if there wasn't so much corruption and then all this other stuff. I don't want to get into it. But it's like, it's everywhere. I remember watching a video clip one time where they had seen or talked to some cocoa bean harvesters in Congo and stuff. Like, these people... They worked for Starbucks, I think. Like, Starbucks used them. Okay. Like, not directly for Starbucks. They were like, hey, the barista. No, they weren't like that. But they're the farmers that harvest the cocoa beans, right? And they had not known that was being used for chocolate. They have never tasted chocolate in their life. They're risking their lives getting fractions of a dollar. Fractions. Like, so... The pay was so horrendous. And they did not know what it was being used for. So somebody gave them a chocolate bar one day. And it blew my mind. I was like, so you guys don't... And then my uncle told me one time, he was like, you see, this is what ignorance does to you. They should be using those cocoa beans and making chocolate for themselves. But what? The other people are doing it. People outside of them. But they're the ones... It grows in their backyard. They should know what to do. They should be able to... Just like in Wakanda, the vibranium was on their land. So they should know how to use it. They should be doing stuff with it. There was another question about whether or not that country should do more, because I understand protecting that. Yeah. Like, I understood T'Challa's dilemma in the film about whether or not to reveal the real Wakanda because he wants to protect it from the outside world because it was so advanced.
But I don't know. I mean, we had a discussion like a few weeks ago talking about this at the end of the movie, the Black Panther movie, about if they were actually going to be like revealing or are they just going to be helping? Because me, I think it wasn't exactly clear. But if I were T'Challa, I'm going to be like, okay, we're not going to just, do the same thing we've been doing. We're going to help. We're going to, do outreach. We're going to be helping the rest of the world. That don't mean that we gotta let you guys know what we got here, though.
I know, like, are they gonna go down in the tunnels and see the vibranium metro?
No. I was like, we're gonna help you guys out, but you don't have to know everything we got up here.
You don't gotta know everything. I mean, you do not have to know everything. But yes, and so, like, again, that dilemma was also seen in Nakia and Okoye. Like, you have the traditionalists and the social activists who wanted to change things. They both love their country. Yeah. One was bound to protect her country. She would die. She would almost kill her lover for the country. You saw how she took Wkabi. She's like, in a heartbeat, without question, I would kill you for Wakanda.
Yeah. Speaking of, that brings up another point in the movie. When Nakia wanted Okoye to come with her, and she wouldn't. And I know people were probably watching the movie like, why did you go with her? But I'm like, honestly, Nakia was in the wrong for that. Because, I mean, it's not like he just, like Killmonger ran up in there and, like, stabbed him in the back, ran and snatched the crown. He did it according to their custom.
Yes, very true.
This is how you guys said the king is chosen. He beat him fair and square, kicked him off the side of the waterfall and whatnot. He is king. So, yeah, he did it the right ways. So, honestly, I know that there's some kind of way to be feeling about that, but I mean, I understood. Or I'm like, yeah, he is a monster. Once they found out
I
later.
get you, Whitney, because I totally get you, because like the Dora Milaje function to protect the crown. Whoever's king, they have to protect them. So what? As you said, by the custom, T'Challa was presumed to be dead. At the end of that whole battle scene. So it's like, hey, he won fair and square. Yeah. Even though we know he was wrong we know that was like an assault to their, like, wait, hold up, you just can't roll up in here and now you're king, we don't know you. Because with African countries, there is this idea of you're foreign and you're not part of us. And so he was an outsider. It was not like, it's different if one of the tribes people, like if Wkabi did it, they would not have like, some people would be mad, but they're like, okay, well, Wkabi is from here. So he has a right to do it, but this guy was just from America. He was one of them, as we all know, because he was the son of the younger, he was the son of the younger brother that got killed, but he had not grown up there, so he was still considered an outsider.
Which is also another, like, point to bring up, because that's just made it so much more wrong, like, more salt in the wound, because he is legitimately Wakandan, but, like, it's like he can't fit in the world where... Honestly, that's where that should have been his world. Yeah. If it weren't for, how things went.
And that's why I like that they called Killmonger. Well, Michael B. Jordan in many of the interviews I watched, because that's how I nerd out. That's how I blurt out. I watch all the interviews about all the behind the scenes stuff and like how they created this and everything. That's what I do. I consume it all. To understand it all. It's Bola explains it all. Nah, 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 nah. Anyway, that was a nod to the 90s reference. Look it up. Clarissa explains it all. Anyway, good show. Anyway, but I understood him. And he had called, Michael B. Jordan had called his character more of an antagonist than a bad guy. Because I'm not going to lie, I was reading all the comments and stuff after the movie had come out. And I had watched it on the second day, of course. But people were like, I don't know if Michael B. Jordan was a bad guy. And it's like, yes, you can sympathize with him. But the way he went about it was wrong.
Yeah, he's still a villain, but he's a sympathetic villain. Because, like, you're listening to him, and I'm looking at the movie, and I'm like, well, damn, maybe he's right. Which doesn't mean that you're not a villain, because, I mean, one thing that I guess I can draw a parallel to, like, is, you guys might be aware of Avatar, and then there was like a spin-off or sequel.
Legend of Korra. Yeah, that ended badly.
I loved Legend of Korra, thank you.
I did, except for the last episode. Anyway, we're not going to get into that. I love Airbender.
All of the villains in the Legend of Korra, they were villains, but the thing that they were trying to achieve was actually really noble. It was like right, but gone about in the wrong way. And the same thing with Killmonger. It's like, what he's saying is right, but just going about, the wrong way. You know that phrase.
He was twisted by the pain and bitterness.
The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
He was twisted by his pain and hatred.
And bitterness.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So
I feel like he had an aim that made sense.
Yeah, because like
the hatred he had for them is what twisted him into some other stuff. And it's like, well, T'Challa said it in the movie. He's like, you have become them. He was talking about them as in the white people or the outside. But he was like, he had become like them. Because it's like, you got to when you want to survive. So he did. And so it's like, he could never come back and be okay in Wakanda. I just knew he would not be able to function if he wasn't going to be able to change his bitterness and stuff. And as you saw how it ended, he'd rather die than sit there and like have a diplomatic conversation. Because they could have healed him.
But I don't think that's exactly how his thinking was. Because, I mean, after all of the awful things he did, he would have been locked up. And he was like, free. I know that death is better than, losing my freedom. So I don't feel like it wasn't that he didn't want to have a diplomatic conversation, though, to be honest, he probably did. He was too far gone. And
he was all like, let's cut some stuff up. He was fire and fury.
Because to be honest, people, like, other than burning all of the, like, flowers and things, because I was like...
I was mad at that.
That was a dick move, dude.
Yes, it was.
That was a dick move.
I was like, you could use that. If you stayed king, you might need some more. Like, come on. Anyway...
Yeah, but oh man,
that showed disregard for the place. That was an act of bitterness to me.
Yeah,
seeing how he was like, we just gonna burn it all because I don't want no other kings.
When he let the what's his name, Claw,
that was
killer.
Wrong.
That was to me the moment where you knew that this guy is just not.
Yeah.
No.
And she was
some
saying
of the things
sorry.
he's saying
He was an alright chick.
But like, yeah, no, this is not the right person for the job.
Yeah, so he was about to look at the scars on his body. Like, he wore them as, I mean, I know that, I had looked into this. They had tried to, because there is a such thing as tribal markings that are scars. Mm-hmm. They do it in Nigeria too, and not everybody likes it. But they do it. So it's like scarring the body to show, like, you know, you belong to a certain family or whatever. But he had worn his as like a badge of honor for all the killings he had done. He had gotten one for every killing. And I was just like, dude, that's a lot. You know, that's like, you can't come back from that. So I already knew his headspace was wrong.
I don't know. I don't want to say, I don't think it's ever good to say that someone can't come back from something.
Well, for me, I couldn't come back from that. I was like, nah, you a killer. Like, you the villain.
But I feel like, you don't want to, like, write people off.
He was the villain. He wrote himself off.
Villain, but I'm talking about, like, that's one of the things I love about, like, superhero movies and stuff like that. Yeah, because a lot of times awesome. Pretty much all the time, they're, like, metaphors and whatnot for life. And it's like, you can't just write people off because they might surprise you. I mean, look at Magneto. Magneto's a very kind of Killmonger type of character. He's a sympathetic character. You understand why he's the way he is. Yeah. And it's like, he can do some good. I mean, he flip-flops between... But it's like, it's not like people can't come back.
I get it, but he wasn't going to come back. You know, he refused the offer. After watching The Sons, he's like, I'd rather die with my ancestors. And I'm like, okay.
But I mean, we're flipping completely to another, I guess, genre or whatever. But Once Upon a Time, the Evil Queen, she came back.
Oh, yeah. That was some good storytelling and redemption. But let's not get into that. Let's stay on task this time. Because we were always like going...
You can come back. They gave her so many chances, and she kept being like, no, F your chances. But
she came back.
She did come back. So I just want to say, cool. Like, you know, don't write people off as never being able. Now, you should write people, maybe personally, you should write people off because, you know, you can't just keep on hanging on to people that might not be good for you. But I'm just saying, in general, I don't think it's accurate to say that someone can never.
Okay, fine. Point made. But my thing was that I just knew for what I meant was that for him, that way of life, he was not going to come back from it. That's what I mean. Like, he wore them as honor kills. So it's like, unless he did the big work of cleansing his soul and all that kind of stuff, I mean, that's a lot of killing. If you look the whole body, the whole torso, the fine torso. Okay. Michael B. Jordan, you hot. I haven't gotten to my husband yet, who is in the movie, but I will get to him in a second. Anyway, but that was my thing. I got him. I felt for him so bad. I really think the first king messed up. He should at least have taken him there to help him to see and understand. And it's like, T'Challa said it best. He's like, we created this. So it's like, of course,
true.
And I would
even understand not like just taking him. It depends on what was up with the mother. They never really went into the mother. Because I can understand you're not going to just snatch this kid. That's kidnapping. But at the very least, your brother's body should have been brought back to your country. Yeah. Leaving him there, that was just like such a slap in the face.
Yeah, I felt bad. And Whitney, there was a scene in the when Killmonger became king. He had seen and talked to his father. There's a line in there that I kind of want to get your opinion on because I could totally get. Anyway, it's really deep, this line, but he says that he kind of laments that he wasn't able to take him back. But then he said he knew that his son would not be accepted there and the only reason he gave to his son was like, he said that, this is Njobu saying this to Killmonger when he was a child. He said that they will say you are lost. Now, what do you think that means? Unpack that to me. What do you think? Did you remember that in the scene?
I didn't remember that line from the scene. They will say you are lost. And he was saying this to Killmonger. This
really is like, he was saying that to him, but it's really about, that scene was just also about like the disconnect, like the severing that happened. Like, if you look at it, Black Americans, they are African in a way. They were just stripped from where they were supposed to be. There was a direct cutting off, you know? Yeah. And there was nothing the Africans can do. And so they say, they are lost. And they're like, okay, they lost their culture, they lost this. I know what this means. Because even in Yoruba, we have a word for Black Americans. It's not pejorative or anything, but it's just like, oh, we just call them that. Like, oh, if you're talking about black people, there's a difference now. Like, there's a difference. And so we have a word to distinguish that. But that whole line, like, they are lost. And it's almost as like, you think about when the people were taken and stripped away and chained and shackled off and sent in the boats and stuff. And it's like, we can't get them back. They're lost. You know what I mean? And so that was like a very moment where I was just unpacking that in my mind about that phrase. I was like, it so makes sense. You know, that just within that relationship, it embodies like the relationship between the Americans or Africans that are in the diaspora and Africans that are on the continent, you know? And it's almost like it's an understanding. But I feel like nowadays, if they come back, if they decide to visit African countries, they would be treated well. They would be embraced. I remember Ryan Coogler in an interview. Ryan Coogler talked about when he went to do research for this, that he had gone to the Kingdom of Lesotho. That is also like that's actually within South Africa, but it is a separate country. Just so y'all know, because I don't know if y'all know where, you know, geography and stuff. But he went to and I love anything dealing with human beings, anthropology, all that stuff. And so South Africa, and then the Kingdom of Lesotho is like in South Africa, but it's still a separate kingdom. And so he had visited those places, and so he thought that, you know, they didn't even realize that he wasn't an African because of how he looked. He's like, oh, it's only till he started speaking that they're like, oh, okay, you are different. And so it's like, I don't know. I guess it's like an encouragement to people to like, you know what, take a trip. You know, even me, I haven't been to the continent, which is you know, a shame really, but I hope to go one day.
Me too.
Anybody want to take me? Just call me. You know what I mean? But I plan to in the future. But I just think it would help. It would help definitely for us to get better acquainted. Better. I don't know. I just felt like this movie was trying to do some unifying, some healing when what it was doing, and some of those deep things. Maybe because I watched it twice, but I wanted to, so I could really unpack. There was so much in the film.
There was a lot, yeah.
And I like that there was only 2 white people, and it was like their whiteness really wasn't the issue. Like they were there, but they weren't integral to the story. This wasn't about them. This was about the Kingdom of Wakanda, the black people in the film, and I love that. And it wasn't like he versus she. It was just like y'all are just there. For once, it's like they get what black people feel like in their films. You're just there, but it's like now you're just there. Anyway, so those are the like deep issues and stuff. You loved it. The fight scenes were amazing.
Oh my god, yeah.
What's your favorite fight scene, Whitney?
I'm sorry, I don't know about my favorite fight scene, but I just cannot get over Okoye throwing that wig.
I get you, girl. Can we just talk about one thing? I love the ingenuity of the weapons and then the fighting styles and attacks and all that stuff. I loved, I remember seeing, Black Panther, his suit and everything is just amazing anyway. Cool. But I'm not gonna lie, when the border tribe, where the one Wkabi is in charge of, the one that had the blankets, when they assembled and did those shields, I was like, no, that's tight. I just thought it was awesome. Cool.
You know what I just thought of? Another blurred universe.
What?
I don't know if you've ever seen Tenchi Muyo.
No, I don't think I've seen that.
Oh, okay.
That's Japanese, right?
Yeah. Well, it's anime, but yeah. So one of this alien race, girl. The whole race doesn't come down, but they're dry. Mm-hmm. And one of the things they do is this shield thing. It's and it reminded me a little bit of that. Take a look at it one day. I
just thought it was so sweet, and I was like, man. Hands down, Okoye, she was just the best.
So freaking awesome.
I'm not gonna lie. Black Panther was good too.
I love her moral compass was
she was just awesomeness, just dripping black excellence. Okay, can we replace swagoo with black excellence? Okay, dripping black excellence. There's a phrase, it was a song, dripping swagoo. She might not know. She's not hip to the new stuff. Yeah, that's not even new. Dripping swagoo was an old thing. It was a couple years ago. Just shows you the rapid pace of change. Anyway, what's hip and what's not, it changes every second, I guess. I don't know. But anything she was in, I just love that. She was about to take her lover out. Wkabi was about to get it. By the way, Wkabi, I was mad at you. She said it, y'all. She said it.
I'm sorry, but you were a bitch ass.
I'm not gonna lie. There was some bitch assness going on with him. I was like, you mother.
How is this apparently like your best friend, but
exactly.
because he didn't kill Claw, it's not like he let him go.
Fake.
He was like really trying to get him. Some stuff was happening, and it's like, I'm just, you really, you were in good company with Killmonger, because y'all's bitterness was really getting you, bitch ass.
Yeah. Okay. So, as much as we love Daniel Kaluuya, shout out to him getting nominated for an Oscar. He was awesome in Get Out. I assume I didn't watch it. I was scared. Oh, I know I'm like the only one that didn't watch.
It was so creepy.
Yeah, and I don't want to get into Get Out, but I'm glad that when, yeah, I don't want to get into Get Out. I mean, Daniel Kaluuya, you are also fine. Dark chocolate. Anyway, but your character is just
was a bitch ass.
Yes,
you were still some very
how you
nice,
gonna be fighting your wife? I mean, I don't even know if that was his wife.
But your character was a bitch ass.
I'm not gonna be like, you just starting like a little just mini war going on right now.
I know, that was like another thing. Like in the movie, I'm like, look at this. It, seemingly the entire time they were peace and prosperity and whatnot, and now, because of you, Killmonger, all of a sudden Civil War. Mm-hmm. What the heck? Mm-hmm. What the heck?
Mm-hmm. And you know what's interesting? I saw this parallel because I know that a lot of cultures, well, a lot of African countries are really different nations and tribes like thrown together because of their colonizers. And so of course, there's been civil wars between everybody knows about the Rwanda genocide between the Hutsis and the Tutsis. I mean, the Hutus and the Tutsis. I mean, even in my family's country, Nigeria, there was a Biafran war because the Igbo people were like, nah, we're going to be our own country. I mean, there's still some sentiments of that. Like, Eritrea is a new country, a relatively new country, broken off because they could not deal with the Ethiopians. So it's like, I get it. And so I like that this movie showed me that they really did their work. They really did their research. They really understood and got Africa. Because a lot of the nations, and in Wakanda, they had different tribes making up this one nation. Mm-hmm. And you had the elusive tribe that no one wants to talk to, like the Jabari and stuff. And we will get back to the leader of Jabari, a.k.a. my husband, Winston Duke. Woo woo! Holler at a girl. I'm getting back to that. But they had that tribalism thing there. Like, it's like they were proud about their own tribe as well as their whole country. Mm-hmm. And you can see that in a lot of countries. They're like, hey, I'm an Igbo man. Hey, I'm a Yoruba woman. Hey, this is just Nigeria I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. And so you can see that whole like, oh, well, what if we were in power? What if we were in power? That kind of struggle thing. And I'm like, I saw that. And I was like, yes, this is African. And so that was kind of cool to see, but he just embodied that whole thing where you're like, you're really starting trouble for no reason. We are all Wakanda, get over it. And then can we just talk about the clothes real quick? The clothing!
Man, it was so awesome.
I'm also known as the fashionista, of the group at Whitney.
Yeah, definitely.
As you know.
Check out Bola's Instagram. By the way, why don't you shout out to them what it is?
Yes, y'all find me, follow me at, it's private at the moment, but if you send me a request, I'll probably just follow me. But it's at Bola Story B. So it's Bola, Story, and B like the insect, so it's BEE. On Instagram, and you can just see all my forays into fashion. I do enjoy it very much.
You should start like a public account.
Oh, yeah, I probably should. Anyway, but, so I love the fashion, and I remember I did grad school work on African fabrics and what they mean and the history. Like, I went in on it, and it was, helpful to me to get to even understand my culture in full. But I did, a whole session. I had my friends dress up. I had everything. I just broke it down for them so to understand African culture and their clothing. Like, clothing is such a big part of our culture. And we love it. Like, Africans can dress, okay? All my Africans, shout out to y'all if y'all are dressing. You don't have to do like the American style. Like, it baffles me sometimes because I understand my family and people I know. They're like, when they come here, they're like, you Americans, they're sloppy. They're like, you're sloppy. It's like you're going out in flip-flops and sweaters and like pajama pants. And it's like, you would never see an African dress out like that unless they're like poor and they don't have nothing or whatever. If they have some stuff, they're going to dress nicely everywhere. That's why when we go to church, we always dress to the nine. You can see a whole wedding outfit just at church. That's how much we do it. So the clothing, I love that they went and looked at all the different tribes because they all do things differently. But they played homage to those tribes. So it was like Wakanda could be any place in Africa, even though it was like kind of Southern. I like that they did some research. You could see things. I saw some things from my culture. I saw some things from other cultures that they do. Like, I like how the when they had the little dream sequence scene where he meets his father in the ancestors in the realm, you know, near the acacia tree and stuff. And the father, he wears a Ghanaian fabric because it has all the symbols in it. I'll talk about that another time. But it has all the symbols in it. I think it's called a dinkra. Please don't hate me, Ghanaian people. I love y'all. But if I got it wrong. But those symbols mean things. And they put it in the fabric so that, like, those meanings come out in the fabric. It's like you wear them. You wear those things. You embody those meanings. But he tied it the way they do it. Like, that way of tying it around the men and the shoulders bare. That's how Ghanaian men traditionally wear their clothes. And I was like, oh my God, I know that because of research. But I'm like, I love that they did that. And then what T'Challa was wearing is like one you could see all over, like a tunic type of thing. With that design, it's like you could see that all over. That
was so cool.
I mean, it was just beautiful. Like, they have the tribes that use the clay and mud. They even have the tribes that put the discs in their lips and stuff. I was just like, this is amazing to see. And then that's why a lot of Africans could get behind, because it's like, yeah, that's us. Yeah, that's us. Oh, wait. That's us too, you know? So the clothing was just a beautiful color feast, and I loved it. I ate every minute of it. I ate it up. So shout out to the clothing designer. You should win an Academy Award because you did the damn thing.
Yeah, it was awesome.
There was some Afrofuturism in there too. So I loved it. It was like fashion was on parade. Anyway, I just had to talk about the clothes. You know me. What else was good? Okay, now we're going to get to the hotness. All right, so I'm just gonna say this straight up. I claim M'Baku. Don't nobody, no chick, nobody come at me saying that, get in line. No. I've already battled with the Twitter haters and the Facebook haters. Like, I posted about him. I was like the first one to see any post about him, really. But then as soon as I did, all these other chicks, friends of mine, of course, people I know, but they were like, the boys, it was like a Monica and Brandon situation. In fact, we were like, the comments were like different lines from that song. Not yours, but mine. Not yours, but and I was like, and then one of my other friends who has her own podcast, A Big Girl Slay, shout out to Ashley Green, but she had a post too, and I was like, this is my husband. She was like, you better get in line. I was like, And then it dawned on me how many people I have to fight to get at my husband. Like, he's my husband. Like, no. Winston Duke, I love you. Come at me. You need this fine African wife right here. You just come at me, okay? M'Baku was like my favorite in the whole movie. Like, ultimate favorite. Not only was he the comic relief, he was like intimidating, and you're just like, who is this? But you fine though. Ooh. You know, I just had this whole.
You know, I didn't even recognize his fineness. Like, initially when he first was on screen, like during the the battle for the kingship, I'm like, challenge T'Challa, get out of here. Yeah. But then, after T'Challa's been kicked off the side of the waterfall and everything, and they're asking for shelter and all that, and it's like, please help us. I'm like, oh. But now you're hot.
Yeah, that's when he came alive. I was like, I'm not gonna lie. And to be honest, he had a night. Like, okay, another good thing about the movie that was a celebration of all of Africa was like there were different African accents in the film for everybody in the same country. Let's not talk about that too much because it's not a big deal. But I love that they all tried a different accent. And so T'Challa's accent was definitely like Mandela-ish, so South African. Lupita Nyong'o, her accent was definitely like an East African because she is Kenyan. So hers was definitely sounded to me because I know some East Africans. They definitely sound more like that. But my dude, he is Trinidadian Tobagan, but we don't worry about that. He had a Nigerian accent, and I got it. He was like, "Are you done? Are you done?" And my Nigerians know that's how he sounds. I was like, "Ooh, yes, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done." Oh my God, Winston, he's just hot. I just the stature and the everything. I'm just like, I immediately followed him on Instagram, and I literally put overt flirtatious comments under all his posts, like, "Stop doing this. All you other chicks just." I'm blurting out about M'Baku. I just wanted to just put it out there. Winston Duke, y'all know I'm your wife. Okay, just holler at me at Bola Story B with an EE on Instagram. Also, he let us know that Black Panther has now hit the $1 billion mark. Can we just do a high five, a hoo-hoo, and whoop-whoop? I'm so happy, and it deserves it. It really does. It's an awesome film. Yeah. It's like the first movie where I actually had no complaints. I mean, I looked at it the second time, like, what could I complain about? I even liked Michael B. Jordan's character acting, because I remember at first I was like, he could have done this differently. But then the second time watching it, I was like, no, I got him. You know what I mean? So to take it all in, it deserves more than one watch. Like, just keep supporting it, you guys. Wakanda forever. Like, I feel like that's going to be, like, our cultural thing from now on. It's so big. I mean, one of the ways you can tell when something has real salience in the culture, real impact, is when people start creating. There are memes. We just went to a local Made in RVA fair. Oh, yeah. And there was a woman there who was Nappy Nerd. Shout out to Nappy Nerd on Instagram. Earrings are awesome, but she made like little pins with the quotes and the pictures of and I was like, this is fantastic. You know, it's like everywhere I went, I saw some Black Panther something, and people are loving it. I'm like, don't usually like dressing up for stuff that much, in characters and stuff, but I'm like, for BlerdCon, I'm like really thinking about how I'm gonna get a Dora Milaje outfit. Like, it's real. So this movie is such a cultural phenomenon. I'm happy that we're in the front of it in a positive light. Yes. And again, for my older people that could be watching, I remember one of the ladies my boss, she was like 60 something, and somebody was telling her to watch it, one of her friends of the same age group, and she was like, a movie today with no cussing and no sex, family movie that was great. Psh. So for all y'all that are like, hey, we like the old school type stuff, this is a whole family, like everybody can watch this and enjoy it. Yeah. And it's just
my
beautiful.
Mom and Dad saw it before I did. Because it came out like what?
It came out on the 16th of February.
And I saw it on Monday.
I saw it on Saturday.
Yeah, my mom and dad went and saw it on Saturday. I know it was at my mom's prompting, because my dad's not really a movie guy. He's like, fall asleep during movies, which is why I really don't take him to the movies anymore. I'm like, that's the $10 that you're sleeping through, though. Expensive as movies are now. But I'm like, didn't even invite me, but that's okay. But anyway. Saw it before
you sound mad bitter.
I'm not actually bitter,
okay.
But you know what? I can be, because my mom is always so bitter anytime I go see a movie without her. She's like, oh, go ahead and see it. That's fine.
Mama Booker, she's playing you right now. Okay, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Oh, that was it.
Oh,
that was the
wait, no. You mean you want to say that they loved it, right?
Oh yeah. And my pastor was talking about it.
See?
Like one of this sermon. No, actually, his whole series he did like based off of Black Panther.
Oh my god!
So it was like it was awesome. Awesome.
Before we get to a little fun game that we're gonna do next, now there's something going on about how like it's almost like a chicken and the egg thing with Black Panther. People are saying, like, what came first, the Black Panther movement or the Black Panther comics? Did you hear about that debate? Some people are saying that Black Panther, the movement, influenced the comic. And other people are saying, no, Black Panther, the comic came out first, and that influenced the people that created Black Panther, the movement. Because it was around the same time in the 60s. So, you know anything about that?
I don't know.
Okay.
To be honest, I don't. Because to be honest, before, like, the movie, Black Panther was not one of the characters I'm still not that familiar with them other than having seen the movie. Because other than, like, Spider-Man and the X-Men,
all the white people.
You know, the cartoon.
All the white people, but I do love X-Men. Let's not get it.
Yeah, because they had the cartoons. Oh, and kind of Ghost Rider. I watched Ghost Rider. I wasn't as into Ghost Rider.
Oh, wait, but you're not talking about Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider, my bad.
Yeah, the one with the skull head.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage, right? Let's not talk about that.
But yeah, I watched the TV show, the cartoon a little bit. But yeah, those are the ones I'm most familiar with because I would watch the cartoons when I was younger. So to my knowledge, there was no Black Panther cartoon and there was no Captain America cartoon. So like Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Well, actually, I did watch the Hulk cartoon, but like those three, they're like some of the more popular Avengers. But I never like saw.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Familiar with any of them until the movies, and it's kind of funny because like you think of like Guardians of the Galaxy, never even heard of them before.
And there was comics,
and now they're like so big. So Marvel has done such a fantastic job with the movies of like making these characters who weren't as well known, like some of the more popular ones.
And I like how they set them up and like. People don't complain if you didn't like the movie because this is it's an origin story. It's about him and his world, so you have to understand origin stories. Like, not gonna lie, just going to something else. I loved Wolverine, the first movie, because it was his origin story. I enjoyed it immensely. Some other people did not, and they were like, Wolverine. But I did. I loved it. I
enjoyed Wolverine as well.
I thought it was the best of the three. Well, I didn't watch Logan yet, so...
Oh, Logan's really good.
Okay, let's not talk about it, because I haven't watched it.
All right.
But I did watch the one in Japan, and I was like, meh. The second one,
I was
like a throwaway
about that one as well.
I wouldn't watch that one again. But I mean, anything with Hugh Jackman in, I'm gonna watch once at least.
The Greatest Showman.
Let's not get into that too because we're just gonna be talking forever for that. That was an awesome movie, by the way. Watch The Greatest Showman, y'all.
It's fantastic.
But Hugh Jackman is just
sexy.
Awesome. Anyway.
Okay.
All right. But yeah. So. What were we talking about again? Just his image just just made me left field.
You were asking about the movement versus
well, if
comic.
anyone knows, just shout out at us. You like, this was first or that was first, because I actually don't really know. I need to look more into it, but I just don't know what came first. But I like that they're both there around the same time, and I like that Stan Lee and all the people that created the comics was like they saw a need for this. Like the fact that it was even created with this background. It just means that someone was thinking about it.
Yeah.
Ahead of its time. It just wasn't as... Because they know breaking through the movie was not going to... it's all about white people. It was all about whatever. Breaking through was going to take some time. But I'm glad that this movie was made for such a time as this. And I'm just, like, basking in it. And I'm like, you guys support everything. Keep going to watch it. Buy it. And they'll make more.
Who's that, Ruth?
Ruth? Who's Ruth?
In the Bible?
No, I don't know.
Such as, that quote. Such a time as this.
I don't think it was... Is that a Bible quote?
Yeah. You know what? You keep talking. I'm going to do some Googling.
All right. But anyway, so we had to blurt out about Black Panther. There is so much to say. Everything was just beautiful. Shuri... I don't even know. I even like Martin Freeman in that.
Esther, not Ruth.
Oh, okay.
Esther.
It's in Esther.
Yeah.
So... I just loved everything about the movie. It was great. So, you guys...
come to your royal position for such a time as this. Because she's the one,
okay.
her uncle. And
Thank
she
you,
saved her
fact-checker.
people from being, like, essentially, like, eliminated by the king.
Yeah.
Because this one bitter dude was like, this
He's
one
a
guy
huge
didn't bow to me. So let's, like, maybe kill them all?
Her eyes are so big right now, you guys. It's so interesting.
And so the uncle was like, all right, the king likes you. Get in there as his wife. You need to save your people. And there's like a quote from
y'all,
the Bible.
get the summary online if y'all haven't read Book of Esther. But the Bible is awesome, too. We're going to blurt out about that another time. But, yeah, so we got to wrap things up, because I know we've talked about it for a long time. We've gone in and out of topic. But this show and this movie deserves every kind of bit of conversation about it. I encourage you all to keep having more conversations about what it means.
Because it's not even just that it's like highly entertaining, because I mean it's a Marvel movie, so it's like so entertaining. It was awesome, but it's also...
We didn't even talk about the music. Oh god, the music is so good.
Yeah, but it had so much like, well, to be honest, superhero movies really being that they are like, metaphorical most of the time, have that type of thing behind them, which is why I love them.
But I like that with Marvel, what I'm seeing is like, they're not like, because superhero movies are essentially action films, and I normally do not like a lot of action films, because I feel like they up the action at the cost of like actual story and like theme and plots and stuff. Like, a lot of times you can get out of an action movie and you don't feel like you learned anything or like thought about anything, and I don't like that, because I like to think. But when you can stimulate me mentally, a lot of the Marvel films and the storylines, there's always like a moral dilemma, some issues, some topics, some things you can really think about that relate to your... Ragnarok,
I love Ragnarok. It was so hilarious and funny, and I loved it. But yeah, that wasn't really one of the.
I love Thor.
That wasn't really one of the.
For the most part, they all do have something you can cling on to. Like, hey, exactly. Especially Civil War had some very interesting like political topics in
and
there.
Like the first two of the the X-Men basically period is about it was like, well,
some deepness.
Yeah,
just some deepness.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I just shout out to Marvel, really, because they are doing it big. I've been a fan. I watched everything.
Shout out to Fox for that one, because Fox actually did the X-Men. Fine, they still have the rights to that, and they're not letting go. But you did a good job, except for the third one, because I'm so mad for how you guys did Phoenix, because Dark Phoenix is my favorite character, and you just effed her up. But you know what? There's a Dark Phoenix movie coming out this year. Chance for redemption.
Don't get Whitney started on anything dealing with the Phoenix, okay? Just don't. We didn't even have time to talk about the music, but shout out to the producers and the people, because I'm a music fan. I used to play a cello for a long time, so music and sound really captivate me. I love instrumentals. I love music, modern day composers. And for me, I love the composition in this film. I know Kendrick Lamar did some part of it, but there was another person that had done, I think his name is Ludwig Grossman or something. Somebody fact check me later. But I got the first name right. Ludwig and then something with a G, Grossman or something. He did a wonderful job incorporating African sounds and everything. And then I love that Kendrick Lamar song with SZA. This may be the night that my dreams might let me know all the stars are closer. Anyway, that one was awesome. It appeared at the end of the movie. And it was just so good. Like, I can't even talk about it anymore. Like, okay, let's go to a little game. Ready, Whitney?
Ready.
We're going to play Would You Rather. Okay? With Black Panther. Okay, so, first question. Would you rather have to wear the Black Panther suit every time you left your house, or the Iron Man suit every time you left your house?
Black Panther. Iron Man's is a little bit too bulky.
That's true.
Yeah,
it's like a no-brainer.
Exactly. And plus, he can wear it under stuff. Like, T'Challa, he can wear it under something and have clothes over.
And it's soundproof, you can climb stuff.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and plus, the orange and yellow of the Iron Man suit, it's a little bit too bright for me. Like a really easy target for sniping.
Plus, it's very mechanical. I just feel like it'd be heavy.
Yeah, it is.
I just feel like it would be heavy.
Mechanical. Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm already
You
fat.
need a computer
I'm like,
system to control it, so...
And so, yeah, I'm just like,
no. Probably not a thing with that one.
Okay, so number 2. Would you rather have Nakia's ring blades for hands or Thor's hammer for legs? She bugged her eyes like what kind of question is this?
Oh my god, I would prefer not to lose any body parts.
But just thinking about it. Nakia's ring blades for hands or Thor's hammer for legs?
Definitely the ring blades.
No! What? You want the ring blades for hands? I would pick the Thor's feet. Thor's feet. Thor's hammer for feet, because it'd be a little clunky, but at least you have your hands. Imagine your hand is a blade, you just be cutting people all the time. Hello.
Sorry, but when you said that, all I can think of is the pirate guy from Family Guy who has the wooden limbs. I think his name is Seamus or something.
Oh, no. I know what you're talking about. It's so bad. It's hilarious. He's like all nubs, no limbs at all. Anyway, but I picked Thor's hammer for feet. Okay. As much as I love the ring blades because it reminds me of chakrams, which I loved from Xena.
Oh my god, yes. That was one thing that was awesome about it. Like, when I saw that, I was like,
that was her little... Sorry if we hurt someone's ears. Okay. Let's just admit that was a weird question. Okay, so number 3. Would you rather have a fight for the last slice of pizza against Shuri or X-Men mutant Storm?
Ooh, last slice of pizza, Shuri or Storm?
I say, can't we just get more pizza? Just me.
I would say I would fight Shuri over it, because unless she's got her tech on, Storm would just electrocute me and take the pizza anyway.
I know, right? Like, when I heard
blow me away with a tornado.
When I heard the cast when they were doing this on BuzzFeed, they're like, let's just do Shuri, because Storm is just gonna... No, he picked Storm. Somebody picked Storm because they're like, it's just gonna get wet. Like, and I'm like, one, I don't want a soggy, watery pizza, but I just feel like we can get out of hand. Storm was one of my favorites because she was like the only black one of X-Men, so I love Storm, and I kind of wish they had picked a darker person to play her. I ain't hating on you, Halle Berry, but she was from Africa.
In the newest X-Men movie,
she's still light-skinned.
She is, but I like the mohawk, though.
Yeah.
I mean, in the comics, she does have a mohawk for, I guess, the earlier years. I can't remember when, but, like, I did love the mohawk thing on her.
Yeah, okay. So, Shuri, we're both picking Shuri, pretty much.
And at least she had, like, an African accent. Like, Halle Berry, I love you, but you didn't even try.
Yeah, I know. You could have tried, but anyway. All right, so I think it's Shuri. Hopefully, like I said, just be a real fat kid and just like, let's just get some more pizza. How about that?
For real.
I'm just saying.
They
okay.
deliver. Come on.
All right, so would you rather be big spooned by T'Challa or Wkabi after a night of Netflix and chilling?
You mean that bitch ass? T'Challa.
Oh, Whitney, you got no chill for Wkabi at all.
No, he was a bitch ass.
So T'Challa, how about this? M'Baku all the way, okay? Yes, big spoon me all day, big daddy. Yes, I'm just going to just pick number 3, which is not in the question, but M'Baku all day.
Yeah, can I pick M'Baku as well?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay. Would you rather have an indestructible car made of vibranium or an indestructible cell phone made of vibranium?
The frick would I do with an indestructible cell phone? I can buy a new cell phone. I want the car.
Cell phones are expensive as heck. Like, come on now. I would want to just buy one and then let's
think about this. I have to really be coordinated to, like, block a bullet with my cell phone that's indestructible, whereas I can get in my car and just be covered all around. Come on now.
I mean, I don't know. Because the way cell phone, like now my phone is like, it's like, I feel like it's on its way. God forbid. But I feel like it isn't. Like, I already need a new one. And I just bought it like last year.
To be indestructible, I can buy another one. But the cost of replacing a car, like, let me have my indestructible car, and then I'm zombie apocalypse proof. And many other types of apocalypse proof as well. Thank you.
Can we have the ship, actually? I want one of those hovering ships.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I would just love that.
Great for the zombie apocalypse as well.
I don't know. I'm partial to the phone because of, it's so necessary and needed now. Unfortunately, I've become attached
to my tech. But it's no need for it to be indestructible.
It would be, so I would have to keep buying another one.
But you would still have to buy another one because it's going to get, like, all outdated and defunct and whatnot. And then you're going to have this, like...
At least a car could last more years. You're right.
Exactly.
I think a car would be a better choice. But
See,
I would just love an indestructible phone. Let's just be honest. Like, we would love that. Because you have to buy a phone, like, every 2 years now.
I feel like that's silly.
Okay, whatever. Agree to disagree. Okay, next question. Would you rather find out your Uber driver is M'Baku or Angry Hulk? M'Baku all the way!
Hell yeah! Hulk will probably drive me over a cliff or something when he gets angry.
Hulk in Ragnarok aside, because we just saw, the funner, calmer side of Hulk in that movie, Ragnarok, but Angry Hulk, let's just be honest,
Hulk
that's just a mess.
Gonna fit in the car.
Thank you. like, what kind of car will fit the Hulk? Like, what are you rolling in, a double-decker bus? Let's not. And again, M'Baku all the way. That's where he gonna big spoon me, okay? Anyway, M'Baku. Indeed. Would you rather consume a heart-shaped herb that gives you superhuman strength or immortality?
Superhero strength.
Why? That was very quick.
Yeah, who wants to be immortal?
Exactly, I feel.
Honestly, if everybody around you is dying, why is immortality great?
Like, I don't get it. Vampires, I don't see what the appeal is. Like,
yeah, because
not only can you not eat chicken, but still, like,
unless all your loved ones and friends are immortal, that's a really lonely existence there.
I'm about to move on. I don't need to be around that long. I'm like, the way the world is, I'm like, nah,
nah, bro.
No, I'm like, immortality does not appeal to me at all. Definitely rather have the superhuman strength, because at least you can do stuff while you're alive.
Exactly.
So if you die, you're just gone, and the strength will gone with you. But at least while you're alive, you have the strength.
And you can do so much good in the world. Yeah. Whereas when you're immortal, well, yeah, maybe you can still do good in the world, but then everybody
you just have secrets
done
to
good
things.
For is dead. So
yeah. I really wonder, like, if you were really immortal, like, would you really be like a spy or something? Like, because you would know stuff for decades, right? Excuse me.
It depends on what you did. If you're like really lazy with your immortality, you might not know stuff.
There's a Korean drama called Goblin, actually, that features Gong Yoo from if you guys are K-pop or K-drama or K-anything fans, Korea fans of their media, you will know dramas are a huge sensation. And they're like just becoming, people know what K-pop is now, but it's just been a thing forever. And of course, we blurred out about it. Oh, yeah. So Gong Yoo was in Coffee Prince.
Oh, okay.
Yes, a hot guy. Yes. He got hotter, girl. He got hotter.
Wasn't he also the one that we watched? What was it? Personal Taste?
No, that wasn't him. That was the guy from Boys Over Flowers. Lee Min Ho.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah, he was fine. But anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, but anyway, yes. But Gong Yoo was in a drama like that, and he didn't really do much with his goblin powers. Like, he had that, but he was immortal. Mm-hmm. But the whole point was that he was waiting for his bride. His bride was the only one that could, like, free him. Mm-hmm. So it's like in modern day, all these issues. Actually, it's a great drama. Because he wanted to get off the cycle. He was born in, like, one of the dynasties, like the Goryeo dynasty.
So he would become mortal once he met his bride.
So he could move on. You know what I mean?
Oh, see? He didn't even want immortality. He's like...
Yeah, like, something happened, and I can't really get into all the story, but it's very interesting. Go watch Goblin on, like, Drama Fever or Vicky, or I think Vicky became Rat Tank Con or whatever, but watch it on one of those things. You'll love it. It's actually a very interesting drama, but it is a romantic one. And but it has a supernatural nature.
There's also
and he was immortal.
Oh, yeah. There's also a Doctor Who episode with... what was her name? Her name was like something like a Shield or something. She's actually the character. She's the actress who plays crap. What's her name? Because she's so freaking gangster on Game of Thrones. Let me look this up because she's like my favorite character. She's like so kick ass.
The point is, immortality is just. It's almost like you're waiting for the end. It's like, what's the point of waiting around?
Which Stark Which Stark is she? Ah, yes, Arya Stark. You guys, Arya Stark is so freaking badass. But yeah, she also was on an episode of, a few episodes of Doctor Who. And during one of the episodes, she is like, the doctor's trying to save her. And she gets revived, but she gets immortality. So she lives forever, except for, like, the doctor, he's a Time Lord. So his biology or whatever as a Time Lord, he can handle stuff that, like, a human can't. So she's got all of these journals she keeps because she can't remember everything that's happened to her. She can't even remember her original name. Oh, God. So when you think about that, that's a really interesting premise of immortality. Because, like, the human brain... can only retain so much. So think about it. When you say interesting. Everything, would they really? Because they would probably lose. They might have known at some point, but might have lost. That.
He had supernatural in the Goblin. He had supernatural abilities too.
Oh, okay.
As well as being immoral, and he remembered everything from like the way early dynasties.
Yeah, but if you're thinking of like a regular human, and there's nothing like biologically that helps our brains to like, I don't know, retain better, then honestly,
again,
we're probably going to be more like me. Sorry, her name, since she couldn't remember who she originally was and like her original name, she just went by me.
Oh, that's weird.
Interesting. But yeah, it was
interesting premise. That is interesting.
Which is why you should watch Doctor Who.
I mean, I watched the season with the guy from The Crown. I think it's Matt Smith.
Why did you start like in the friggin' middle? Start from the beginning.
I was not a Doctor Who person from the beginning. We're not going to get into this on air, okay? Okay. All right. Last question before we like
sign
leave.
off. Okay. Yeah. Okay,
would you rather find out you were on the Dora Milaje wanted list or the Avengers list?
Dora Milaje. Who? What? Wait, I thought that was the ceremony.
No, the girls, Okoye's group. That's what they're called.
Oh, you see, I didn't know. My bad.
Excuse me. Are you serious? You didn't know. The Dora Milaje is what they're called. Okay. The girls, the fighting, the fighting. I just love when girls kick ass. Like, I just love it.
Cool.
Anyway,
that is cool. Cool name though. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, everybody. Who? I would prefer to be on Dora Milaje than the Avengers. Because, like, you think of the Avengers, you've
They
got
got some
some of these
weird powers.
super powered. I mean, Thor's a freaking, like, thunder god.
Yeah.
And
Hulk will smash the mess out of you. Like he did Loki in the
Oh
first
my
Avengers.
God.
That was funny.
That's what it feels like.
That was funny. He just like Hulk smash. Boom, 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 boom. You're like, damn, Loki. He got rocked, yo. That was the best. Anyway, but that's what he gets for being a mischievous little imp. Anyway. But, yeah, the Avengers, I mean, look at what's her name? The Red Witch or... What is
Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch. Her power is crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And Vision? Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. No.
I'll
take my chances with adorable.
But the black women? I don't know. I don't want to mess with them either.
I don't want to mess with them, but I would...
At least they're still women.
Yeah,
as opposed to, like,
exactly.
enhanced beings. I don't even know what Vision is. I mean, I love Paul Bettany, but I don't really know what he is.
Yeah,
he's cool, though.
Interesting, yeah.
It's interesting because in the comics, he gets, like, they are doing some kind of love thing between him and Scarlet Witch, which is actually present in the comic. But I'm like, if you're, like, some kind of droid, human, or whatever, like, do you even have appendage to procreate? Like, I just wonder. So these are the things that we blurt out about, and these are the things that our nerd brains go to. Like, I think about these in-depth questions. You're just like, that's inappropriate. But you're thinking about it, though.
That is a good thought, though. That is a good
Yeah, so I think my answer will be the Dora Milaje, too, because I might just try and join them. And be like, take me in, but can I be one of you? Anyway, but we have talked a lot and exhaust, and I don't think we can really get to the full breadth of how awesome Black Panther is, but we're going to sign off now, you guys.
That is it. So, that was episode number 2.
All right, bye, Blerd Nation.
Boo and Whitney.
Boo and Whitney.
See ya.
Bye, Blerd Nation. Thanks for listening to our podcast. Please subscribe to our show on whatever podcast listening app you use and share the show with other Blerds and non-Blerd family and friends. And if you like our episode, please rate and review us on iTunes.
The intro and outro music is Twilight by Caption. You can find them on SoundCloud, username Caption, spelled C-A-P-S-H-U-N. The show notes are by Bola, Hanson, and the audio engineering is by Whitney Booker.
And you can contact us by email at blerdtalkbw@gmail.com. And also, don't forget to get social, you guys. You can find us on our social media at Instagram and Twitter, with our @handle being @blerdtalkbw. And we've got our individual things going on too, y'all. So you can find me, your Blerd Fashionista, on Instagram and Twitter at BolaStoryB. That's B with 2 E's like the insect. And I've got my own personal YouTube channel, just Bola Sade. That's BOLASHADE. D as in dog, E as in elephant.
And this is Whitney. You can find me at my company, Luminavi Studios. The email address is whit@luminavi.com. That's WHIT@LUMENAVI.com. You can also find me on Twitter at Luminavi Studios.